Hi, and welcome to The Bright Balloon, a podcast where I'm sharing bright ideas for your balloon business. My name is Sarah Meyer, and I'm a balloon business owner like you, and I love the creative side of what I do, but I really love the business side, which seems to be the part where most people struggle. So I'm here to help. Each week, I'm bringing you an episode full of bite-sized tips you can use to make improvements in your business. I want you to make more money, eliminate stress, and learn along with me as we grow our creative businesses together. Welcome to The Bright Balloon, presented by 17 Hats. Hello and welcome to a Throwback Thursday episode. Today I'm chatting with my friend Erin from Young and Wild Balloon Company, and her business has absolutely exploded since the last time we spoke. She has moved locations, she's hired a full-time employee, her fleet of vans has increased, and she has opened up an event venue. So this is an inspiring interview. I think Erin is absolutely killing it and has set the bar extremely high, but also offers some really manageable tips that gives the rest of us some action items, ways that we can grow, ways that we can kind of push beyond our comfort zone and take on new revenue streams, new employees, and more potential in our businesses. So thank you so much for coming back on for this throwback episode, Erin. And thank you to PremiumConwin for supporting and sponsoring our artists who agree to come back on for a second interview each month. PremiumConwin has sponsored these throwback episodes and will be sending Erin and all of our throwback guests an inflator as a way to congratulate them for their success and to thank them for the time that they have given to the podcast. So let's take a quick break and hear from the UGlu Hotline and then get into this catch-up episode with Erin. Welcome to the UGlu Hotline, where we discuss great advice that sticks, brought to you by Pro Tapes. If you have a question or some great advice to share, click the link in the show notes to call in and leave a voicemail.
Hey, my name is Rasha. I am the owner and the balloon artist at Fabulista. I operate in Georgia. And my question for you today is about the glue dashes for the foil balloons. Why is it some gold balloons does not work with glue dashes? And if there is any solution for that, it's giving me a headache, especially with the gold numbers. Thank you so much. I love your podcast. I listen to it all the time, and it's very useful. Okay, bye-bye.
Hey, Russia. All right. Thank you for calling in. A couple of quick tips to try. The first is to use acetone or nail polish remover with acetone in it on a cotton ball and just wipe the surface of your foil number or letter. You specifically mentioned the gold. That's because all foil balloons are naturally that silver. When they paint them, when they make them a color, that is what is sometimes resistant to sticky stuff. So if your UGlu dash isn't sticking, try removing the color from that specific area and then try again. If you still have trouble, you can actually just put a piece of clear packing tape right onto your number or letter and then stick the UGlu dash to that, and it should work. Worst case scenario, there are some brands, I found usually inexpensive brands, that just you can't wipe off the color, nothing sticks to them, and in my mind, that makes them really hard to use. So I think part of what makes you a professional is knowing how your balloons are going to behave. So for that reason, I tend to stick to the same brands over and over, and because I know how they work. I know that things will stick to them. I know that they are reliable, that they don't pop, that they don't have holes. So experiment with different brands of letters and numbers, find something that works for you, and then just always be brand loyal to that particular option. All right, I hope that helped, and thanks for calling in. Pro Tapes is a leading manufacturer of specialty tape products like Pro Gaff, Pro Artist Tape, and our favorite balloon tape, UGlu, which helps you create amazing balloon arrangements and decorations in less time. You can save 5% on UGlu when you buy directly from Havin A Party using code BRIGHT at checkout. All right, welcome back for our Throwback Thursday episode. Erin, one of my favorite people in the balloon world, Young and Wild Balloon Company. Last time we talked, you were thinking about hiring an employee.
That seems crazy.
Hysterical how much has changed. So you had some part-time help. You were about to take the plunge to hire an employee. Tell us where you're at now.
Well, that employee that I ended up ultimately hiring after I went through interviews, I have to tell you, I had like 40 something people apply for the job.
Wow.
Crazy.
And you were working with like a business coach at the time, right? So she helped you get that.
Yep. So we went through the process. I hired someone. She worked for me for maybe like 4 months. And then ultimately she just wasn't a good fit. So we parted ways. And then I went maybe like another 6 months without. And then since hired like a salaried employee. He just hit 1 year. His name's Jacob. If anyone follows us on Instagram.
He's the best. I love when he opens your mail. It's my favorite.
He's like, I have 3 sisters and he's like the little brother that like I never had, like we fight like siblings. I love him.
How did you guys meet? Was it just straight you hired him or did you know him through someone?
No, I did. Well, we had mutual friends, but I had never met him.
Oh, interesting.
So he applied when I posted that we were hiring like full time, or no, I was hiring installers. So I had gone maybe 6 months post the first employee and was kind of doing it all myself. And I ended up hiring my sister-in-law, Olivia, to help me with installs. So I got her trained up. She's now trains my installers when we hire new installers. But she and I were kind of tackling all of it, and having her to do installs even solo was super helpful because I had someone inflating, I had someone counting our orders. It was all really pieced out, and like, it was like, this person's the order inventory person. This person like inflates the orders and this person like, and then Olivia and I would install, which got me through a lot of like the hecticness. And then before graduation season last year, I posted that I was hiring more installers. So I hired 2 more. And they are still with us. And we've since hired another. So it was Jacob and then Amanda. So they were installers for me on the weekends and tear down people kind of throughout the week and definitely on the weekends. So we got them trained up. And then, you get through. July is usually one of our busiest months. So I got through July and we were heading into August. I throw a huge anniversary party for my business in August, and that takes up a lot of our time. And then September and October are really busy for me as well. So I was like, I'm ready for more full-time help. And Jacob was ready for a change. He was working full-time as the director of a preschool or a daycare here in Columbus. And he was ready for a change, and I was needing something full-time. So he joined me and I salaried him. And now he kind of does it all just like me. He and I are, both in email and replying to quotes and doing installs, doing teardowns and inflating, whatever. We both just kind of tag team and run the business day to day. So
that's amazing. So how did your business is really successful. And also if people haven't listened to your first interview, and your second interview, we'll link those in the show notes. You can go back and kind of catch up, but you also own an Alphalit franchise.
Yes.
Is that the right name?
Yeah, I call it a franchise.
Okay.
We're like owners. So yeah, I own Alphalit Columbus as well. And we've actually since in the last year opened an event venue as well.
Oh yes, I forgot about that. So you're very successful. Like by my standards, which are all that matter, you're very successful. So I'm curious when you felt confident that like the money was going to be there, because I am kind of teetering on that point of like, I'm very comfortable paying contractors and paying people that I know I could stop paying if I needed to. But the idea of like a salaried employee or even a committed amount of full-time hours seems really overwhelming. At what point were you confident in making that commitment? Because you're kind of messing with someone else's life at that point.
Oh, 100%. I feel like it's just about my numbers. Like when you and I first started chatting, like when we did my first interview, I was working with a business coach. And, when you start that process, you go through like, what are my goals? Where do I see my business? Blah, blah, blah. And at the time I was like, I just want to make $10,000 in like a busy month. I'm like, if I can make $10,000, I will feel so good.
And is that like revenue, or that's what you wanted to take home?
That's like my revenue. I wanted my revenue to be $10,000. And that's like, seems crazy to me now because I'm like, how, like if my business only generated $10,000 in revenue now, like we would be failing.
Yeah. That was less than 2 years ago, right?
Yeah.
So tons of growth.
Yeah. So since I have since moved into a warehouse, it's actually right around the corner from my house. I can walk and like right behind my kids' elementary school, which I love. So I'm like live my whole life. And then our event venue is like maybe 4 or 5 blocks south of that. So I live my whole life in like a 1 square mile radius. It's lovely. But yeah, we have a bookkeeper and I had her like kind of run the numbers because there's a lot of hidden cost in having like a real employee rather than like a contractor, because you're paying payroll taxes and you're paying like a payroll service and you're doing all these other taxes and things. So it's like whatever salary I'm paying him, I actually need to account for like thousands of dollars additional.
Yeah, it's a lot. Payroll tax is a lot.
It is a lot.
I only know that because I'm moving to that for myself. So I've always filed as an LLC and now I'm going to file taxes as an S Corp. And one of the, I guess, criteria to do that is that you have to pay yourself through payroll. So it feels ridiculous that I'm doing all of this work, all this paperwork. I have to set up payroll just to pay me. And I'm paying myself with now an additional fee on there. But in the end, it's supposed to lower my taxes, hopefully, God willing, because I paid a lot last year.
You're supposed to be switching to an S Corp as well. So our bookkeeper's like, I don't know, she's very pleased. She says, you know, because she runs our like P&L and everything every month. And she was like, I guess third quarter, she was like, your third quarter was like the best profit margins I've seen, blah, 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 blah. So we're doing really good. That's very
amazing.
Especially with opening an event venue and having to furnish it, all the tables and chairs and, you know, just the work we had to get done there to like get it up and ready. I'm like, for us to still be like our most profitable in the third quarter was surprising and lovely. So
that's awesome. Are you ready to take your balloon business to the next level? Look no further than Havin A Party Wholesale, your ultimate destination for all things balloons. At Havin A Party Wholesale, they're not just a distributor, they're your partner in success. With the latest and greatest in balloon innovations, they're on the cutting edge of new products that will wow your clients. From top brands like Tuftex, Jamar, Anagram, Ellie's, PremiumConwin, and more, they've got the widest selection to fuel your creativity. Elevate your balloon business with premium quality balloons and accessories that'll make every event unforgettable. Join the successful league of professional balloon artists who shop at havinaparty.com. Let's talk about the event venue, because I'm sure, I mean, according to Instagram, it just kind of seemed like it came out of nowhere, but I'm sure for you, it maybe it did, maybe it didn't. Where did that come from?
Yes and no. So I had kind of quietly been looking for an event venue. I live in this like small kind of charming town, and there's really nowhere to host an event. And we're kind of in this sweet spot where it's like, there's enough income that people would pay to have something not at their house. We have 2 golf clubs in my town. So people who are members there, like host events there and stuff, but we're not like super wealthy where it's like, yeah, come to my mansion. But like my community is like, okay, like I'd be happy to not have to clean my house and like just go rent like a little venue or whatever. So this kind of fell in my lap. So I'd quietly been looking, and there was a couple buildings, and, you know, I toured a couple places and was like, it's not going to work, you know. And it was like one of those things where it's like, I'm not going to like force something to work. I'm just going to like wait for something to come along because it wasn't necessary. And then the people who were in my event venue now, I met through the Scout Guide. I don't know if you know what the Scout Guide is. So I'm a member of the Scout Guide. So are they. And they host like creativity trainings. They're really cool. They're called Just Bloom School. And they now have contracts with the military, training military officers on how to think kind of outside the box when problem solving. So anyways, they have these really cool contracts, and they had kind of gotten to this place where they were moving in a direction that didn't require them to have a space to be leading these trainings. And they approached me and they were like, hey, like, cause they also would like let their friends use the space on the weekends for like baby showers and stuff, and would recommend us for balloons. And so they approached me and they were like, hey, like, we're not going to be in this space anymore. It's in a really, really, really good location. And they were like, we think it would be great for you to open an event venue. And I was like, I've been wanting to open an event venue. So basically they just connected me with the landlord and it was mine. As soon as people heard that they were moving out, like there was like a line of people waiting to get it. And they were like, sorry, like someone's already like got
Oh,
the
that's
spot.
amazing.
Yeah. So there were rumors around town that I was like opening like a party store and stuff, which just, I wouldn't want to run one of those. I love, like, Lola just opened one from Tangled and runs one, and I like love that for them. And I like love the idea of like doing that, but also I'm like, I don't have the time for that. So it's really just like this big blank space with a lot of natural light. And it's like the perfect like baby showers, like that kind of size.
That's awesome. Yeah. Well, so I actually never like closed the loop on this little story on the podcast. So I'll fill people in, but I reached out to you because my husband and I made an offer on a building. It used to be a church, then it was a daycare. But if you can imagine, like an old church, like one big room with tall windows on the side, vaulted ceilings. I was like, oh my gosh, this could be perfect for balloons, or I could do balloons in the basement and the top could be a venue and I could rent it out. So I did touch base with you to kind of figure out, ballpark, like, oh my gosh, is your business failing or is it amazing? Like what's going on? And long story short, we found out we couldn't use the building for anything other than a daycare. And it was like, well, I don't want to have a daycare. So our offer was actually accepted and I got financing approved, which was a surprise to get commercial financing based on the size of my balloon business. But I was kind of going to follow your model because it seems so smart. Like you have the venue, you can easily upsell the balloons, and you have Alpha Lit, so you can upsell the balloons on there as well. So it all works together, which I love because I'm with you. The party store thing is just never going to appeal to me. I don't want set hours. I don't want inventory and SKUs and like, that's not for me. Yep. But this venue, you really planted a seed. And same thing. I have kind of a quaint little town, but it's either like you're renting a hall for a wedding, like you're renting a true venue, or nothing. There's no like in between, like you said, for showers, parties. So it didn't work out for me, but I was definitely keeping an eye on yours. And I was glad to hear that you said you were profitable the first month.
Yeah, we were profitable the first month. We've definitely at least broken even every month. And then I've kind of, in me having the balloon business, this is probably bad advice, but I'm going to say it anyways. On months where I'm like, gosh, there's not a lot of inquiries coming in, I'll just like throw on, like, I'll say like, oh, and we're running a special and you get like a free helium, like you get 3 free helium bunches, or you get like a free balloon hoop, depending on like
bad advice. That's really good advice.
And I'm like,
sales.
then they're guaranteed to book it. Cause they're like, oh, like they see, cause I charge $400 for a balloon hoop and it's 12 feet of balloons.
Yeah.
Like it costs me like $15 maybe. And then my own labor, like when it's walking distance from my house, like it's really not a lot of work. So anyways, I kind of sweeten the pot when I'm like, there's no other inquiries this day. Like I want them to book. So
I love it. And then who's actually running that end of things? Is that you and Jacob? Because most of it looked pretty automated on your website, but I'm assuming there's still interaction, right?
Yeah, there's interaction. So with it being so close to my house and close to here, our warehouse, it's Jacob and I just kind of tag teaming it. And it's really, the building itself has been in our town for so long. It actually used to be a Christmas, like a full, like year-round Christmas store.
Oh, fun. Yeah.
It feels so magical. Like most people have been in the space, so they're pretty familiar with it. And then for 12 years, it was a paint and canvas place, like a wine and canvas place.
Okay.
So a lot of people have already been in the space and have like a context for what the actual like structure is. And then the rest is just seeing that it's like all white inside. And so we do still do tours. Not a ton, honestly. People already kind of know what it is. And then honestly, we've just been giving people the door code to let themselves in and lock up. We have the farmers market in my town, which is like on the same, it's like right there. So on Saturdays, we've only been booking like one event rather than like 2, just because it's crazy to get down there during the farmers market. And so on Saturdays, I'm like, there's a farmer's market going on. You technically don't have access until noon, but here's the code if you want to go in earlier and decorate. And like, it feels very mom and pop, which is like kind of how I like to run things.
Yeah.
And I think for the location and for the clientele, it's like, it's been really good. And
I then feel like you going in and cleaning up after them, or do you have a service that does that? Like, what does that look like?
I clean it or one of my employees, Kathy, cleans it. Okay. So Kathy is one of my like OG employees that I had when you and I were first talked. She used to inflate at night, and now she actually lives like across the street from it, like on the other side. Is she the
balloon fairy? Is that who you used to call the balloon fairy? Yep.
The balloon fairy, yeah. So the balloon fairy cleans it too. She does a much better job than me. She's like, I got some cobwebs, and I'm like, I couldn't reach them. So
I just left them. It adds character.
Yeah. I was going to ask because Jacob's really tall. I was going to ask Jacob to go get this, but I'm glad you did. So
That's funny.
yeah, it's really not a lot of cleanup either. I have been really fortunate. There's been no damage. There's been no, everyone's so grateful to be in the space that they're clean up really good after themselves and stuff. So it's been really nice. So
That sounds awesome.
Hi, this is Jeff at Balloon Suite. I'm often asked if Balloon Suite is compatible with the systems that you already use in your business, your customer relationship manager, your accounting tool, the way that you're accepting leads on your website, or the phone call system that you're using to have a business number separate from your mobile number. The answer is almost always yes. So if you're thinking about using Balloon Suite, or if you've checked out our packages but you haven't started yet because you're wondering if Balloon Suite is compatible with the other systems you use in your business, I would love to help you get that defined, specific, clearly actionable answer. Come on over to balloonsuite.com, let me know what you're using, and we can help you figure out exactly how you're going to integrate that into your Balloon Suite package.
And you're renting. You said that earlier, but you're renting. I mean, it seems like a pretty great space, but if you could have it in your perfect world, would you like to own, or is renting good and low committal?
it's pretty, yeah. I mean, my lease is only 3 years. And so it's one of those things too, where I'm if I'm not profitable, my rent is low enough that I feel like I could cover the cost with profit from here. So I'm if we get into a position, which we won't, but I mean, ideally, I guess I would like to own it, but I also like that I don't have to pay a mortgage on it or whatever.
Yeah. Or replace a roof or fix the plumbing and stuff like that. Interesting. Yeah. Well, cool. So what's next for your business? I mean, not that there's much. I mean, you're killing it. Are you wanting to grow, or are you in this sweet spot?
We're kind of I feel like we're going through some growing pains right now. We grew a lot, it's even just thinking about when I talked to you last, I'm my revenue has grown times 8 probably. It's just been a lot.
Can I ask you a super nosy question? We can cut it out if you don't want to answer it. Have you hit 1 million?
No, we might this year. We might hit. I will have to have a really good December to hit it, but we're getting really close. So
that's awesome.
We for sure will. So we're in this growing phase right now, though. October's our busiest. October's the first 2 weeks of October are insane for us. It's homecoming for Ohio State, which we do the College of Medicine and the football team. We do all of these balloons, and It's insane. I feel we do all of our revenue for October in those first 2 weeks. Now we're breathing easy. But Jacob and I just looked at each other on Monday of this week, because this is our first calm week. And we were you could just tell, we were dead in the eyes. And I'm something's got to give. So I think we're going to bring on, because we do have another part-time, the Countess is her name, Kristen. She started out just counting orders, and now she inflates for us throughout the week too. So she Monday, Wednesday, Friday from 8 to 1, but we need a little more help. So I think we're going to kind of restructure the way we're doing things and bring on more than that amount of time, part-time person, and still have Kristen, but just in a different kind of way. So.
What about your vehicles? Has that grown at all? Because I remember when I came to visit you in Columbus, you had literally just gotten your van. It was brand new.
Yeah. Oh my God. Yeah.
Do you still just have one?
No, we have 3.
Okay. Because I was how are you doing all these jobs with just one van? Because you'll have 10 jobs in a weekend, easily.
Oh gosh. Yeah. More than that for sure. Yeah, we have 3 now, and they all have names. So you met Linda.
Okay.
Linda's kind of in retirement now because she's old. I paid cash for her. I don't know if you remember. And she's just old and stinky. She runs on diesel. And then we just got a 2022 Sprinter. It's the same as, it's the biggest, tall, extended, whatever. And then we have a small Nissan NV. We call her Karen, and and then our newest one's Dolly. But we use Karen a lot for teardowns and just smaller jobs. She can probably hold 40 feet of balloons, not a ton. If it's just alpha-lit, we can probably put 60 letters in her. So it's fine for what it is. But yeah, we're rocking and rolling. I was just saying yesterday, I kind of want a box truck with a lift because
I know. I'm jealous. I wish I had a big truck. I can't justify it yet, but it's kind of the dream.
We keep getting the vans because they have the side door. And when we're doing alpha-lit, if we had just a box truck, all you have is that back door. And a lot of times, when we load in our alpha-lit, my phone is blowing up. My husband's you have to put it all near the wheelbase, whatever that means. So it needs to go in the front so that the letters or whatever, then balloons go on top of it. And, so anyways, it just wouldn't make sense logically for us to have a box truck. Whenever we have to rent like a big U-Haul for like a crazy event or something, it ends up like kind of being a pain in the butt. So I don't know.
Yeah, the worst part of U-Hauls is like getting them. Like I hate waiting. I hate going. I hate waiting. Even when it's fast, it feels slow. So I'm just jealous of anyone with a truck.
Buddies with our U-Haul lady, like the woman who like runs the U-Haul near us. I'm like, now I'm in here talking about her engagement party, and I'm there for 30 minutes every time.
That's funny.
Like, oh, but yeah, it's hard. But yeah, so we actually, for our anniversary party this year, we had a Barbie box built because the theme was Barbie, and then we had a hot dog stand made. Did you see it?
Yes, I did. The pictures looked awesome.
Yeah, so we actually have we've been renting the Barbie box a lot, but it's kind of cumbersome and like one of those things where it's like, if the Barbie box is rented, like Jacob's delivering it kind of thing.
Yeah.
We actually have to deliver it today. And I'm like, it would just be so nice if we had a lift to like, shove it in. So, but we'll get there. We'll figure it out. But yeah, we're growing and we're busy.
How about space? I think, have you moved twice since we first talked? You were kind of in that like split level basement place.
Yeah.
First.
So that's where, nope. We moved from there to our warehouse.
Okay.
And our warehouse now, I'm kind of hoping the people in this, because we're in like a long warehouse building and we have two of the spaces. One of it, like one half is kind of like flex space is what they call it. It's just like a really big open area with like a couple small rooms off of it. And then there's two double doors into like a warehouse. It's like a garage. And that's where we keep all of the alphabet and then open the big garage door and load in all of our stuff into our trucks. So we've been here since I guess a year and a half now. We've been here a while. Our alphabet business has like really exploded. We have had to purchase a lot of additional letters, and we're now driving up to Cleveland to borrow from the Cleveland location a lot. Like every week.
Interesting. I never thought about that. So as part of like an alphabet member, you can get more inventory if you need it.
Yeah, you can borrow from each other. So the Cleveland location also owns the Youngstown location. So they have double the inventory. So we borrow from them pretty frequently. They're really great. They're a really sweet couple that own it. And then there's another woman who owns a Toledo location, and then Cincinnati. But Cincinnati is technically in Kentucky and it's a little further of a drive. So we try not to go down and borrow from them. But yeah, we all borrow from each other. So,
that's great. Yeah, we have two. We only have two in Wisconsin, and they're the same owners. So the two big cities closest to me. I got a set of numbers made, and I love them because, like, you know, if someone's having a 4th birthday party, they're not going to pay for the letter and then pay. It's like twice as much just for the delivery. So I'm glad I have those, but just the storage of those, I can't imagine a huge alphabet.
Yeah. It's crazy. I know. And we order new letters all the time. So we're kind of outgrowing the warehouse side. And the warehouse next to ours, we have doors that are blocked leading into their warehouse. And I'm kind of hoping they'll move out so we can have their space.
That's awesome.
We can do without it, but I'm like,
you'll find something.
I know, I will. So, yeah.
Well, let's wrap this up. Congratulations on all your success. Our sponsors of this episode, PremiumConwin, are going to send you an inflator as a congratulations and a thank you for all the time that you have given to the podcast. I'm just so excited to connect with you, and you deserve all of the good fortune that you guys have received over there.
Thank you. It was good to catch up. We'll have to.
Absolutely. All right. Awesome. I will talk to you soon.
Sounds good.
Thanks for listening. As usual, I tried to keep it bright and light. Our presenting sponsor is 17 Hats, the CRM I use to cut the chaos and manage my entire balloon business. From the lead capture form on my website to workflows and email templates, invoicing and grab-and-go garland automated bookings, it's all powered by 17 Hats, the best customer relationship management system for balloon businesses. There's even a 50% off coupon code waiting for you in the show notes wherever you're listening. I'll see you next week in another episode.